turn on my camera, by the way. That would be helpful. And we're live. How are you guys?
All right.
Good morning.
I'm all right. Thanks for asking. You?
Yeah, and maybe we can start off actually right away because we always talk about this distinction between meat and sauce. And Lutzauger, maybe you can just explain or define those terms
Sure.
and what that means for the development of Down Apart. I think that's like a question that always is in the back of our minds, and
Right.
it's really important.
Okay. Um, so what is meat and what is sauce? So meat is basically everything which is gameplay in the game, and sauce is everything surrounding it, making it more interesting. And in game dev, you have kind of a dilemma, uh, especially nowadays, because you have to focus um, on meat because this is what's long-term selling the game, and sauce is the one which attracts people. Right? If it doesn't look good, you have a hard time to find people who find it interesting. And usually, best case scenario, meat comes before sauce. Obviously, same thing applies in the kitchen. But if you don't have an interesting, appealing game visually, then you will have hard time finding like the supporters like we have now in our Discord channel, because uh, they will not get interested in the first place. Uh, that said, I mean, there are games out there which prove that meat is actually way more important than sauce. For example, we just talked about it, like a game like Among Us, which looks like nothing, has actually more reviews and has actually a better rating than a game like Battlefield 2042. Even though that the price point is like a little bit different. So like Battlefield, it's selling like 10 times the price of Among Us. Basically because of the sauce. Yeah, it's easier for them to lure in people to buy this game, even though that it doesn't make that much fun to play. While Among Us is a gem on itself, um, which has great gameplay, uh, uh, but then again, really doesn't look good. It took a while for Among Us to actually pick up before uh, it got the traction it has now. There were like a small group of people playing it endlessly, and they invited friends, etc., and so on. And suddenly, it kind of skyrocketed from there on. So it is important to to have like both in the game really early on, but you start somehow with sauce. Otherwise, you can't find people who are supporting you and the development, and then you have to focus on the meat, and that's what we're doing constantly. So we're policing each other um, uh, on our Discord server and our mirror board to work on meat instead of sauce. Because if we're doing only sauce, well, it's going to be a dish that does not taste very good because it's just soup then. Um, and yeah, so that's why you have like this discussion with meat versus sauce in our Discord server, in our mirror board, which you can observe while watching us making this game.
And what would you say is like a typical meaty aspect of Down Apart versus which is just
Mhm.
sauce?
Yeah, Donapart is consisting out of we call it the three pillars of the game, which is the colony sim, and then we have like the automation sim, and then we have like the RTS part, like the real-time strategy part, which also includes destruction. And so, like getting these three genres together is like the most uh, heavy part in this game development, at least for me, I think, because it's uh, not just an RTS. It's not just an automation game. It's not just a colony sim, right? Um, and getting these three together and working is yeah, is hard. Yeah, so that in the end you get something which is fun. For example, I played a game on the weekend which is pretty new. It's Helldivers 2. Uh, and what they're doing great is you're getting into this flow which we discussed a lot, right? So also Victoria is doing this really great. You get into this flow where you lose the perception of time while doing this game or while you're playing this game. And this is something which we also want to achieve. Rimworld has it also. I mean, you're going like from goal to goal. You wanna build better defenses. You want to build more stock for your food supply for the winter, etc., and so on. And when you achieve this goal, right? Well, you have identified 5 more goals while doing that already, and then you can decide if you want to pursue them right away or um, quit the game. Usually, people get reminded by their exterior world to quit the game instead of laying it aside by themselves. So yeah, this is actually a goal which we want. Basically, what we're doing, we're producing drugs, and that's legally, which is great. Yeah. So game dev is the greatest job ever. You can make stuff which is addicting as fuck, and nobody is actually stopping you. Yeah. Is this recorded?
Um, yeah, it is actually.
Yeah.
It's a healthy drug, at least.
It's a hell. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
yeah. No, really. I know everything I know
Relatively
from
healthy.
playing game. Yeah. See, we're talking about drugs, and Hamiklar is already joining us here.
and what's your favorite sauce thing?
Hmm.
Like maybe like your favorite, good-looking, non-essential thing that you just want to add to the game just because it looks cool.
I have this. Well, how much time do you have? Yeah. it's I know me at the helm. I think is not the best situation for this. But asking Francisco, just giving that question to Francisco. What is
Hmm.
your
I
most
mean,
sought?
the one that I like the most, or the one I find the most like useless.
Useless but beautiful, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the most beautiful I think is the Pioneer heads. That one was quite a game changer.
Hmm.
The most useless. Mm,
Also
it's
tank.
actually kind of hard to. No, 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 no. I kind of find it hard. I was gonna say the stepping of the pioneers removing the floor, but I actually like that a lot. So I don't know. It might still be the most useless. Might still be something we are planning to do and haven't done yet, which is
Yeah,
good, I guess.
I mean,
which is good, I think. Yeah.
what I'm about to say, it's not confirmed. It's up for discussion, internal discussion even. But we've been discussing to like add a nuke to the game, and there's some controversy within the team of if this is too saucy. That would be like the prime example to have like a really cool but non-essential
Hmm.
weapon type of device to add to the game. I don't know.
It's a mother of sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
but think of it. I mean, then again, giving this as a final goal for the people, for example, playing the demo
right.
to reach the
Mhm.
nuke and then nuke the shit out of whatever they like. Um,
I'm
that's also pretty meaty. Yeah.
I'm just seeing you in the corner of the screen in the chat. Someone is saying nukes are absolutely essential. What are you talking about? That's
It's
so that's so funny.
sure. See,
Yeah,
yeah,
please
part
let
of
us.
the gameplay.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments what you want to see in the game, and as many
Nukes or
forms of
no?
source, and you can
I mean,
suggest anything.
Yeah.
we still need
Uh,
an in-game explanation for terraforming.
Right.
yes, no. I mean, if you have a world which you want to destroy, then of course you can terraform it also and dig trenches. Yeah, I think this is like the most useless thing ever. Um, Having like the pioneers dig trenches as a measure of defense. Um, but I like the idea to have like this landscape where you have like all these craters and um, all the vegetation is gone. I mean, what we're talking about, I mean, you think the heads are like the ones which are pretty saucy? I think the like having like these trails, yeah, these walking trails, they're pretty saucy. Um,
Mm.
So if somebody, I mean, if you have not noticed it, but you have like if our pioneers walk around, they leave like these desire path while walking, and I think we spend a good amount of time on them. I think more than two sprints to perfect them,
Yeah.
and and yeah, but still, I'm super happy always to see that, and I'm playing around with that from time to time. And then another one which was pretty saucy also, and also took like forever, um, is yeah, I would say the heads. Yeah, they come right next after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
What do
like
you think, Leon?
my
You
favorite
go.
thing, which is I guess both, is when we added water to the map, because it took us only like a day.
Yeah.
It was non-essential, but it made such a great impact in terms of how the landscape looks, in terms of diversity and stuff. So I guess like the middle ground is to add stuff that is visually appealing, but which
Mhm.
doesn't take away from like developing the core of the game for like I don't know like 2 weeks or whatever. But if it's just
Yeah.
if just a limited amount of time and then it looks cool, and we can also build this into like something larger. I mean, as of right now, it has not the Timberborn level of deepness, in
Hmm.
terms of like managing water stuff. But
Yeah.
that was my
Mm.
favorite because it was just essentially like this, and there was like a new thing on the map, and it was a great like contribution to the variety of the biomes and stuff. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Agree, Leon.
My favorite source of the game?
Yeah. I mean, you're the master of sauce, so
I'm a source man.
yeah, the
Yeah,
sous
good
chef.
question actually. Um, might be actually pretty small things like the wind that waves the grass around.
Mm.
Um,
Right.
I
Mm.
just imagine the grass was gone. We just have a green surface. The game would look a lot duller, I feel like, especially
Yeah.
if it wasn't moving.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I want to correct myself. It wasn't the desired path; it was the grass actually. And Tony would uh definitely say that's like the most sauciest thing ever, because like the grass we spent month now with,
Mm.
it's ridiculous actually. But
And
then
it's not
again,
done.
yeah, it is always cool to showcase the grass, right? Maybe not on video and possibly not on YouTube uh, um, quality, but yeah, when you look at it in the game, it's amazing. It's cool, yeah. And I can't wait for having like more types of grass actually in the game, not only the one which we have now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we don't have any vegans or vegetarians on our team, so I guess we'll just keep focusing on meat then.
Yes.
To kind of wrap
Right.
this meat versus sauce discussion up with a bad transition. Okay.
Yeah, Good has a question here. I like to see arcing artillery that mortar you were discussing earlier got me like, yep, that's it. Maybe more heavier turrets that are colonist controller and launch a barrage of heavier rockets to some distance. So we have like this mortar artillery, which get manned by a person. So it's not in the game yet. We have like all the assets done, and I think Tony already has made a ballistic um, uh, shooting system. But yeah, I think it's not really using the pioneers at the moment. Um, and yeah, would also love I mean, if you want to have like craters from assaults, etc., then you would need something like this. Yeah. Water calculations, yes. Well, on that scale, probably not with real physics, but like a little bit like how Minecraft is doing it. I mean, they're kind of cheating when it comes to the water physics, um, but it would be awesome. Yeah. And also brings me to what is the purpose of maybe Source
Mm.
which interacts with the gameplay. Yeah, I mean, there are games out there which are nothing but Source, like People's Playground, right? And I would love to see some dynamics in our game as well when it comes to that. So when you have like the chance of accidents through machines, people can fall off roofs, etc., and so on. And this is like just basic stuff, right? But just watching these people getting getting hurt in your factory might be interesting. Yeah. And yeah, uh, that's why we need all this blood and gore. I don't know. I think we have on the Peter board somewhere some examples of blood and gore. Where is this?
Yeah, we should have from
So
I
what is in the
believe.
Discord channel?
Oh, over here.
Oh no, over here. Yeah, exactly. Just showing this here. Then it gets interesting. Then it is kind of intersecting with the gameplay, I think. Yeah. So this stuff here, you have like destruction in the world. You have um, uh, these stencils on the wall, etc., and so on. And yeah. Also, very saucy is the stuff which we plan for the factory. I mean, you're building this factory on this alien planet, which is known for its lush vegetation, and then suddenly that planet is trying to conquer back your factory by overgrowing it and stuff. And I really want to see this. So you like the decay of your factory is much higher than it would be on Earth, and this could be also very interestingly, like visually. But it's not gameplay; it's just source, right? So I hope this clarifies everything when it comes to meat versus sauce. Hey, glider cut. Yes, good. Okay. So, do we do our stand-up?
Yes.
Please. Okay, let's go to the Peter board. Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes. Skipped yesterday, so I have something to change here. We're doing this mug up, and hopefully can finish this today.
So shall I go first?
Yeah, where's the burn down chart? Is this here?
Yeah,
I can't see it.
It's here, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Where is it?
It might be invisible,
Oh, okay.
but it's here, yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm in charge of that. I was just, panicking for a second.
Yeah. Okay. If
There
I'm
it is.
reloading, then I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've just been working on the recipe tooltip stuff. So the pinning I already showed a bit yesterday. It's fully working, and now I'm working on the navigation between tooltips. Yeah, and I was also fixing a few things with IK aiming because I wanted to have like a branch with all of these things together to show today. So there's like a few more fixes with this. Some random stuff like the target was not updating when you change targets between aiming. There's also some like a quick flicker of the aiming circle when you draft them. Yeah, but just kind of small fixes to have like something to show. And should I show it now or just after everyone's?
No,
sure.
go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I should probably share my screen. Okay. Yeah, so let's pick someone to start shooting. Yeah, so let's draft them and pick someone to shoot at. So there's a few changes. The aiming circle is now above the name, and it does the border, very similar to the text. You may have also noticed the floating damage, which takes the direction of the shot. yeah, we killed her, so now Eleanor is actually picking up the weapon. Yeah, so now they also kind of follow the target,
That's cool.
and they easily change to other targets. Yeah, but there's still like some tweaking to do. I know Tony was working on it before he took the leave, so there's going to be more stuff coming to this. Yeah, something you might have noticed, they don't actually restart the aiming process. They keep it, which is obviously wrong, but it's some work on that. Yeah, but things should be a lot more stable with this. Also, the aiming was improved. Now they use their arms as a kind of like drawing a line from the elbow
Right.
to the target, or not to the elbow, to the. I'm sorry, I'm missing my. From the elbow and from the from the joint of the arm with the chest.
Yes.
To make a straight line to the target. Yeah.
Right.
Well, previously they were using like the chest, which caused the shot to actually go slightly lower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the stance of or how they're holding the gun is, I mean, they're still using this gangster style holding, right? So like.
Yeah, they do. Like, I think they overstretch the right arm because the idea is the right arm is like closer to you, and the left arm is the one actually holding the weapon, like in the around the middle.
Yes.
But kind of what we need is it kind of needs to work per weapon, because for a pistol you actually hold with both hands in the same place. For a rifle you do it slightly different, so we kind of need to have a more dynamic system.
This is also like a massive rifle. This looks like the rifle is almost like taller than the pawn.
I think it's not the one which Leon made, right? It's like an old version, I think.
Yeah, this might be an old version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old version.
Yeah, and we actually have the situation where they're missing the shot because like going through the through the aiming.
Yeah.
Which is
so when you look at the
also something we're gonna work on, improving the aiming.
So it looks like this guy's left-handed at the moment, right? Or is this is my assumption wrong? I don't know. Like in I think if he's left-handed, he shouldn't have like the gun on the long arm, but on the other side, you know. I mean, you have like when you're looking from above.
Yeah. So I believe the side, like the preferred side, is the one with the trigger, and just the other side holding the gun. So yeah, we kind of have this going on. The issue is this arm is getting stretched too far, because right now there's no. It's not based on the weapon. It's just some value we are using. But this concept of having the arms at different positions is already working. It's just that it's kind of exaggerated for now.
Right. Okay. Just want to clarify that. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I believe this branch also has the tooltip pinning, which for now is pretty simple. So you hold, in this case it's shift, but it's going to be control later. Well, you have a tooltip and you can move around freely, and you press again and you recover. So in some
shift, I think it should be control.
Yeah, it should be control. Right now it's shift because another branch is kind of like adding the control input. So I kind of just want to coordinate the two things whenever that goes in. Yeah, so it's just a matter of changing the key. Yeah, so in some tooltips we will have the option to press on them, which will navigate the tooltip to something else. This is also working for resources. Like if you lock here and you go over the resource, it won't show up. But for now, I've disabled locking tooltips in the world space. I don't know if it's something we want, but it's very easy to add it if we do.
Yeah, let me think about it. I can't see it now, but yeah.
But anyway, it will be easy to adapt if we wish to have it. Yeah, and that's that's about it. I mean, this will be working on machines as well. For now, we're just I added to all of them, and I think I want this to be okay. Yeah, so you have it here. This one will also lock, and you'll be able to navigate when you press the button there with the ingredient.
Okay.
And that's the next step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Back to the Peter board. Leon, what are you working on?
Yeah, I just share my screen and tell you as I show what I've been working on. All right. Yeah, I've been working a little bit more on particles combined with animations and the current Gore project. This is something new for our viewers here. I've been working on a few particles to make the whole combat more interesting, but also to make the visual stuff, the source more communicative of what is actually happening. For example, the Gore splatter, which is quite large, but I feel like it's necessary if you look at the game from an angle like this to actually see, oh, I'm getting hurt. Because
Mm.
won't always fire lasers once the game is out, and these lasers are very visible. Bullets are not. And yeah, from this I also got the idea to give our enemies, this alien race which inhabits this world, some different kind of blood, like glowing blood, pink blood, just to make it a lot more visible and communicative from afar of who's actually dying and taking damage. All right. Yeah, time to show off some of the reworked animations. This one is stayed the same. I didn't know what kind of particles to put here, but this one it starts now ejecting all of these sparks to the side.
Nice.
I'm still not entirely happy with the fact that these disappear entirely once this thing stops working.
True.
We'll tweak that.
Yeah, that should be actually an easy thing to do.
And yeah, this thing is among my favorites at this point. I just showed off.
Awesome.
It starts spitting out all of this debris and some light smoke. I wish I could turn these orange boxes. There we go. Okay. Also, these lamp symbols are kind of annoying. I would be really grateful if I get a way to disable them.
Oh, you can press like in that scene screen on the top right, you have like a sphere.
Yeah.
Yes, if you press it.
Awesome. Okay, this is fantastic. Yeah, but here at the furnace, I didn't start working on it yet because I found this here an entirely different particle system. I first wanted to talk with Francisco and Tony about it before I started working on this because maybe that's necessary. Maybe it's just a previous approach on how to do that. Yeah, that's that. Also, it stops playing entirely.
Yeah, I mean, we have like a kind of a general wind direction before we have like this wind system implemented. Maybe it's good to consult with Tony in which direction the smoke should kind of blow, so that it's consistent if there's a fire nearby or something. Because then you have like the fire going like this, and the smoke going like this. And obviously, as soon as we have wind system, that should kind of work together. Not being a demo, just saying.
Yeah, exactly. While we are at the topic of demo, these aren't equipped with particles yet, because at the demo we'll only have the V1 assembly, and this one has a pretty particle thing. Now, one moment. There we go. At some point, the assembly will start shooting all of this molten material onto the workpiece below, sort of having this really elaborate sci-fi way of a factory where things are being put together.
Like that, yeah.
Also pretty proud of this one. I've basically managed to animate inside the VFX graph system with this one,
Yeah.
using the modulo operation. Something I've learned from making my own animation program in Pico 8.
Hold on
Yeah,
one second.
this.
Before you
Hmm?
go back. So this one, the assembler, right? So the particles are emitted by the kind of the laser beam when it gets created, the laser beam, right? Not on the surface, but on top. Is that right?
The laser beam is a particle. One moment, I can show it right away. Show on project. Assembly here. Takes a moment to load.
Yeah.
There we go. This thing basically spawns a laser which gets animated via the frames taken into modulo and to sort of play with the buff, and that's it. It gets this super strong glow.
Yep.
And then we have just some sparks to as a secondary effect to make
Okay.
the first one more interesting.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking about the sparks. Well, the sparks are getting emitted on this tube thing, right?
Yeah.
This thing. Okay. Yeah. I'm wondering if it makes sense to have like also sparks on this plateau or the
On
other
the
way around.
connection, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a good idea. I will do that right
Yeah.
away
Fine.
once the
Good.
meeting is over.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
there we. Oh no, there we go. All right. This thing is also very impressive at this point, if I can say so myself. We
Oh, that's
have
cool.
this debris powered steam which gets ejected from the below, and we have this steam coming from above that this thing is actually running hot and is working as intended.
Yeah.
This thing, I'm this close to giving this a rework. I will probably do that after the meeting as well,
Mhm.
so I actually can say all the machines are done.
Hold on.
Uh,
Just a thought which I want to share with again meat versus sauce. Another sauce moment. Okay. We had this idea that some machines produce their goods with some temperature, like the oven, of course, right? A blast furnace, and that stuff comes out glowing hot. Yeah, and that's actually basically why Tony made this feature that we have like elements which can glow in the game, you know, with this mischievous light, and uh, this these resources then kind of cool down over time, and when you use them in a hot manner, yeah. So if they're still hot and you use them in other machines, that actually how you can use them is kind of a boost of how fast you can produce whatever the next step is in your production. So the hotter they are, the better it is, right? So so you can, and then we thought of, well, what about if the factory room has a certain temperature, like you keep it hot in there so they don't cool down too fast. If they are actually hot, it heats up the room more, etc. and so on. So all these ideas, you know, throwing around. And then if it's too hot in this room, you have to make ventilation, etc. and so on. Yeah, so one thing led to another. It's kind of like these building blocks, and it's actually interesting because all these sauce pieces, they become kind of meat. Yeah, so I'm thinking about this idea a lot.
Yeah, can you turn the punch press on again, please?
yeah, sure. Do you also want some proper footage after this for YouTube or Steam?
Yeah, sure.
All right, one sec.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to see like a factory worker getting crushed by this thing.
One,
Eh,
so he's running around with one arm, and the arm is there.
I mean, like maybe even like the whole body.
Oh wow,
Might be difficult, but
there is one.
perhaps.
See what there is one
Uh,
in T-pose.
There's a volunteer right there.
Yes, Luke, come over here.
Oh my god.
right.
He doesn't have any physics, so it's gonna be boring.
Mm.
Off you go.
Now, why would Luke be there? That's a question.
He's just napping.
Who put them?
Maybe,
Who put them there?
the machine was off and he was just
Yeah, taking a nap.
he lost a bet or something like that. Somebody dared him to to lay under this thing.
Like this.
Like
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Yeah, and then you have like all the
Wow.
gore coming.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Hope I don't have made any duplicates. Okay, there we go. What happened now? Ah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, the lathe. This thing also has particles now, rather sure than gel.
Yeah, awesome.
This is greatly exaggerated, but this is all about animation, so we sort of have
Mhm.
hot sparks coming off the chisel product, which is technically wrong because the lathe is working in the other direction, but it's supposed to look interesting from afar, and this is my priority, which I apply here.
Yeah. Also, hands up, who knows how a lathe works actually, right?
Right.
I figured it out thanks to this. Before I joined this project, I didn't know what it was.
You're gonna get some
Um,
certification while you're working on this.
yeah, it's
Some
crazy
industrial.
how much I've learned about old industrial machines in a sci-fi game. Yeah, the
Well,
refinery.
it's like war. It's like lived in sci-fi. So it's not it's like where not everything is like super high tech, I guess, at the moment.
I mean, we are some offshore project, so
Yeah.
I suppose that's okay. Uh, yeah, these things start emitting some random fizzes now here and there.
Oh, that's cool. Can you unselect it so that we see the particles better? It's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I hear the sound effects already for this thing when it's working.
especially all these piston sounds when they go down could
Yeah.
be very nice to
Like
listen to.
washing machine. Yeah.
Some factory ASMR. Uh, and yeah, this thing hasn't changed because
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Factory ASMR is actually a good point. Yeah. I think I like the sound of a washing machine. Yeah.
You know the ThyssenKrupp Werke here in Berlin?
Yeah.
There was sort of documentation about him a long time ago, and he basically lived inside his factory, much to the dismay of his wife. And when he was asked why he lives there in this horrible, noisy place, because he said this is music to him.
Yeah.
It's the sound of progress.
Awesome.
When was that? Because I think there was also some terrible stuff happening at that factory, but we're not gonna go into that. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
It was prior to the unspoken event.
okay, good.
Unspoken.
Was around the time when Revolution sort of took its place in Germany, which was a lot later than in England and stuff, and they started to sort of expand the German steel production at the time.
Yeah.
Mm.
I like the
Uh,
Looney Tunes pipes here on this machine, by the way.
yeah, it
That's so funny.
was
Yeah.
a real headache how to animate these machines, and I suddenly got the idea.
Yeah.
All right, that's about it.
Cool.
Gonna turn the gizmos on. We also have this laser effect, but this is some work in progress stuff. I like the idea of all the sort of different weapons that we have, like turrets, guns, pulse rifles, and perhaps rocket silos. That all of them have these different nozzle effects.
Right.
All right, then that's everything from my side.
Cool. Thank you, Leon. Okay. Tristis Tristis Oris. Yeah. Plans about release date. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna provide a demo um, for all Discord members to play around. Then they will be able to also report bugs on us. Um, and yeah, probably next couple of weeks, month, I think, for this close circle of people. Then you're gonna have a demo which gets accompanied by a Kickstarter campaign for a bigger audience, um, and hopefully with their help and also with yeah, people which we might get from Steam to play around with this demo, then we're going to have a better understanding when the release date for the early access is. So basically, what we're going to do is now not going to the game when we feel that it's not going to be fun to play, right? And how do we find this out? By asking people who play the game. And we know from the industry that there is the way to have people who are really close to the project play the game. And of course, they're very optimistic when it comes to the state of the game. And uh, so we will ask them. But then giving it to people who might not know us and are kind of uh, yeah, indifferent when it comes to us, and getting kind of an honest review. And when this is like close to 95% of that they would recommend this game, then we see that there's an early access release, not earlier, right? And yeah, and how to make this work for us, because we don't have a title out or something which actually brings in money. Um, well, we have to see where the time for an early access is ripe or not. Yeah, it's kind of a mix between how long the funds will last us and how certain we are this game is going to be a success. Okay, good. Then, anything else from the Peter board?
I mean, I don't know
I don't believe so.
if it's the right time. We could discuss the map sizes, but maybe wait for Tony to return because he has probably a lot to say about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
But
yeah. Maybe, yeah.
yeah, maybe we can just look at it if you zoom in, because I cannot
Mm,
access my Peter board right now.
okay.
And I briefly discussed it with Francisco and Leon. I guess the question is that there's like several factors. You know, do we want to have like a curated experience? Then we have like a limited map, or do we want to have like an open-ended, procedurally generated? And there's also a mix. You know, we can also have like small procedurally generated maps with like chunks of the map being pre-designed and then remixed.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so what I learned when I researched those map sizes from other games is like even those that claim to be big or like infinite, um, when people like go to the like really like far away borders of the map, the game breaks, and that's even the case in Factorio, which has like 4 trillion square meters. I don't know. I mean, that's just a number. Like people won't be able to like go to the like edge of the map. The game will shut down, before that. And there's like two games. I think it's Foundry and Desynced, which claim to be like infinite. But that's also it's probably nobody has like ventured out far without like the game crashing the game. Then there's like I know you're very fond of like Earth of Orion. This is set in a fantasy world, and they've gone for like a I guess like a Lord of the Rings type map. It's in the middle, last row, at the bottom in the middle. So since they're like have like a fantasy setting, they have like this contained, actual like pre-designed, pre-huge map. Just like an RPG, I guess. Um,
Is it though? Because I
yeah,
saw like a procedural map generator from them.
well, you can zoom on the actual map, which is like a
Hmm.
map. Uh, and I guess I don't know if that's procedurally. My impression was it's pre-designed. Maybe it's like a mixture.
Hmm.
But they have like different biomes which are like set, I guess, and
Mm.
water, piece of water and stuff, and islands and so on. But I mean, that's like I guess that's a genre of like a fantasy setting or like a fantasy game. Um, yeah, and then there's
Right.
there's performance issues. There's the question of how I guess it's also like many. but like if you look at Station to Station, this voxel game, which is like level based, I'm not sure if you're like aiming for like a level based approach, and you could you just spend limited time on a limited map, and then you move on to like maybe a second, a bigger map, which is
Mm.
somewhere else. Uh, I don't think we're aiming for that. So these are like factor into that
Yeah.
question, I guess.
Yeah, there's also like, for example, in City Skylines, you have like this unlocking feature, or you have like it in Prison Architect, where you can also extend the area where you're working on. It's part of the progression of the game.
Right.
Mm, that's also an interesting aspect. In other games, you have to claim land to be able to use it. I mean, like in City Skylines, you also have to claim it. I mean, you can see the world already, and then decide, well, I need to expand my city limits. It's also, I mean, it makes sense in the context of the lore. Um, but from a technical perspective, I think we should have this discussion with Tony
Right.
because at the moment, as I understand it, I mean, we have like this chunk loading system, so you can basically infinitely whatever your memory of your computer is providing you with
Mm-hmm.
scroll in the world, you know. But the question is it? I mean, why,
Right.
right? Because we also have like this fog of war thing where areas of the map are not visible for you unless you have people there, right? And uh, I would like to review this on a gameplay standpoint, right? I don't think it
Hmm.
is um, a bad thing to have a, a limited map size
Yep.
when it comes to the gameplay thing. I think it's looking good on the package. If you would say unlimited world space, right? Um, but I wouldn't. I mean, if we're sacrificing some interesting gameplay because of it, then I wouldn't do it. Yeah, and I want to have like this discussion. And thanks for this overview, how these other games are doing it. Um, I mean, at least for how big they are, etc., and so on. Because this is also another question: how big is the map then? Yeah. Um, but when we started this game, I think we had like this idea of um, building vertically, and that therefore we spend a lot of time introducing um, this level view and foundation view where you can build factories vertically, right? We showcased this a lot here on the server already. Um, and one idea was that while you have like this ability to build vertically, there must be a reason why you do this, right? Well, for example, looking at uh, factories you built, Till, and there's no offense, yeah. Um, Basically, you take a lot of space, right? Because for you, there's no reason to make it compact and build it up high vertically. Um, uh, the reason behind this is, yeah, there is no gameplay mechanic for now why you should do this. And when we started this game, what I want to say is we had this idea that it's actually for you expensive to expand horizontally.
Mm.
So that the attacks, for example, of the indigenous people, they get more and more vicious when you're taking up more land. So that's was like the idea, yeah, and also to yeah, give people the idea that building up vertically is beneficial. It costs you more, yeah, but you don't get attacked too much. So it's kind of a balancing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back and have like this discussion, and then also the reason why. Then I mean, in what context does it make sense to have like a infinite big map then? You
Yeah.
know? Okay, let me just read just what Goo is writing here. Yeah,
Wow, these are actually great recommendations, and I think we'll definitely have a look at them.
yeah, yes. Yeah, they're like great examples of what you're describing here. For example, like in Rust, you have like these maps which are procedurally generated, but you have like monuments placed inside of them, and that could be also interesting. Yeah, so you have an ever-changing map, and I mean, um, when it when one argument is, well, with a uh, endless big map, you can have, well, we have this discussion now. With an endless big map, you have uh, so much potential different landscapes. Well, you can have this with every play or with every game you play in our game. Every time you play, you get another map if you have a procedurally generated map, and then just some monuments placed in. And I think, well, that's something which we want to explore more. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. The thing is, I mean, this chunk loading system is implemented. I think we have some issues with it still. And if you can get rid of these at the same time, that would be great. Maybe it's just an easy fix, but we have to talk with Tony about this,
Yep.
right? Good. Do we have anything else for today?
You moved the mock-up for the weapon selection
Yes.
to in progress. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Working on this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Actually,
You're
actually,
waiting.
actually,
Yeah.
Glider Cat has a great point. Um, he mentions exploration. You know,
Mhm.
exploration being like a prime motivation for people, for example, in the first place to leave the settlement, and if that's like a big part of the gameplay, then it would make sense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then again, I mean, the point stands, but in Rust, you have to go venture out a lot.
Right.
Um, it's involved with a lot of risk,
Hmm.
but a lot of reward as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, there's also like first person versus like isometric view. I think like exploration, maybe first person view is more a fitting approach for like exploration. Um, uh, for example, I guess like the prime example is like RimWorld, where you can do these exploration missions, but you actually leave your own map for them, right? Or people like drop in
Yes.
from like out of thin air essentially for these
Yeah.
raids on your
Yeah.
settlements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with Rimworld, I think it is. There's also it's a big technical factor why
Hmm.
they do it like they're
Yeah.
doing.
For sure.
But I think they've found their way around. Yeah, Tinian found his way around with how you actually have like this whole world, and
Hmm.
with this continent, and then you travel with on this little map, which is
Right.
kind of a helper, and then whatever um, elevates the gameplay, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
without being too technical. Oh, I have like 3 people writing now. Yes, yeah, prevents you from running out
Yeah.
of
The
things.
resource thing is important, I think.
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
there's
Hmm.
also other ways to do this. For example, uh, you could you could introduce other stuff, right? So like you have like ore resources which you can only dig up to a certain degree, and then after that you need special technology to do that, and then well, you have like your pool of resource fields, and then you can maybe tap them again with this new technology. So there's possibilities in the gameplay around this. Yeah. Yeah. Or, I mean, it kind of triggers the end game as well. If you're running out of resources to to mine, then it triggers the end game, right? If you are not able to send more lucrum back to the um, mothership, then yeah, game's over. Yeah. Okay. Well, you play them long term. I see. Yeah. Well, Gladicat would be fit right into our team with all this feature creep ideas. Mm, yeah, Wellheim. Agreed. Yeah, glad it had. Yeah,
Okay.
good.
There's one more question, comment?
Thanks,
Definitely,
Lydica.
Glidercat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like these ideas. I mean, we talked about a game called Shadows of Doubt. If you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It does so much things different that it feels like um, a whole other animal. Um, and it's not like there were like technical innovations or something, but the game designer they came up with a completely different idea. Um, on how games actually work. And I'm wondering, I mean, this game could have been easily made like 20 years ago with the same technology. But it's out now, yeah, and yeah, and I'm actually a little bit jealous that they came up with so many innovative ideas um, in the game. So if you're into detective games and also voxel games, I highly recommend looking at this one. It's a really rare gem, and I can't wait for them to add more content to it. All right, wrapping it up on this note here, and if nothing else, then thank you for watching us today, and hopefully you can join us again for the sprint planning next week on Witchcraft Wednesday. And yeah, thanks for joining us,
Yeah.
and see you.
Thanks, Goo. Thanks, Glidercat, for tuning in. And also, who else is here? Tristus. Good to see you here for the first time. And see you next Wednesday, I guess.
Till then,
See you, everybody.
All
bye.
right.
Bye bye.